We can change numbers back and forth between fraction form and decimal form. Sometimes we might need one or the other for some reason, so it's convenient to be able to switch back and forth. If I have a fraction and I want to change it to its decimal form, fractions at the end of the day are division. I'm going to do the top, the numerator, divided by the bottom, the denominator. The numerator divided by the denominator. Top divided by bottom is easier to say. For example, if I have the number 7/8 and I want that in its decimal form, I'm going to whip out my handy dandy calculator and say the top divided by the bottom, and my calculator is going to give me 0.875. Depending what numbers you have, you might get a whole bunch of decimal places, in which case you might want to round at some point rather than have to write down a whole bunch of decimal places. But this one happens to be exactly 0.875. I get 0.875 and then it stops. So changing a fraction to a decimal, the top divided by the bottom. To change a decimal to a fraction, we're going to look at a couple different possibilities here. The first one is I have a decimal that's kind of like 0.875. It's a set number of decimal places, like let's use, for our example, we'll use 0.85. I'm going to look at the rightmost decimal place. I have my decimal point, and then the tenths place. This is the hundredths place. So I'm going to take when I make my fraction, that's going to be the bottom. It's in the hundredths place, so my bottom is going to be 100. The top is going to be my original decimal multiplied by what I put on the bottom. So this is going to be 0.85 times 100 on the top, which is 85. 0.85 is 85 hundredths, 85 over 100. I would like to write that in its most simplified form, so I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by the same number until I can't do that anymore. I'm going to notice 85 ends in 5, 100 ends in 0, so I can divide each of them by 5. 85 divided by 5 is 17. And if you can do that in your head, that's great. And if you need your calculator, that's why you have a calculator. 100 divided by 5 is 20. There's nothing that divides evenly into both 17 and 20, so I'm finished. 0.85, the decimal, is equivalent to, is the same as 17 over 20 in fraction form. It might be that instead of just a decimal that ends, you have a decimal that repeats. For example, my decimal maybe is 0.621, 621, 621, and so on forever. It's just going to keep repeating those same digits. Well, I can't really say what's the last place in this because there isn't one. It keeps going forever. But just FYI, another way to write this is I'm going to write my repeating digits, which are 621. And if I put a bar over the top like that, that means it's repeating those exact same digits out forever. What I'm going to do in this case when I have a repeating decimal is I'm going to count how many places are in the repeated segment. So I have 1, 2, 3 digits that are repeating over and over and over. my denominator is going to be that many 9s. So this is 3 digits. When I try to rewrite as a fraction, I'm going to put 3 9s. The top, I'm going to do like I did up above here for the previous one. 621. I'm going to write those 3 repeating digits without any decimal points. So that's my sort of initial fraction. I would like to simplify that as much as possible. So I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by the same thing. 999 I can divide by 9, and 621 I can also divide by 9. And, try it out. If you're not sure, try some things out on your calculator, see what works. Same thing, top and bottom. 621 divided by 9 is 69. 999 divided by 9 is 111. And there's, I can actually divide each of those again by 3. I was getting ready to say there's nothing else, but there is. I can divide each of those by 3. I was going to stop too soon. When we're simplifying completely, we want to keep dividing until there's nothing left to divide. So this will be 69 divided by 3 is 23. 111 divided by 3. I don't have a calculator next to me. I have to actually think about this. Let's see. 3 goes into 11 3 times. 3 goes into 21 7 times. There we go. 23 over 37. And 23 and 37 are both prime. Nothing divides into both of those, so we'll stop there. And we've just turned that repeating decimal into a fraction.